Hey everyone, welcome to ZV NFT. That is not a painting. It is also not an NFT. That's actually real. This is the Masai Mara in Kenya, which, by the way, is where I am from. So I'm so excited to be coming to you for ZV NFT from Kenya. And there's a reason for that. It's because I want to dedicate this episode to African artists in the NFT space, what I've learned in being in Kenya for the last few weeks and talking to loads of artists. It's a really amazing community, and I just want to share with you what I've learned. Now, I'm going to keep this episode kind of short because I need to go for a game drive. I mean, come on, right? There's so many elephants. All the big five are here. There's the lions, there's the cheetah, there's buffalo, there's leopard, there's rhino. And actually, I've not seen a leopard in many, many years, so I'm quite excited about this. I mean, this, even though I've grown up here, it never gets old. So before I bounce and do the game drive, let's talk NFTs. When I first started my NFT journey, now some 6 months ago, I was always on OpenSea, right? I still kind of am, but I rarely found African artists. I was seeing all the great collections that were trending, that were rocketing, but I would just never easily find African NFT artists. I also have a software program that analyzes who's buying and selling NFTs in real time. It's called Nansen. And I also didn't see any African NFT artists there. So I was scratching my head wondering, am I doing something wrong? Why is there such little visibility of African artists on OpenSea, which is the biggest marketplace for NFTs in the world? Why can't I find them? Rarible and Foundation, I was finding NFT artists, but I really had to seek out the African artists, right? So one day, I turned up at like 11 o'clock at night, way past my bedtime, by the way. And there was a Nigerian women's NFT Twitter Spaces. So I thought, let me listen and see what's going on. And that really was a turning point because I introduced myself, I talked a little bit about what I was trying to do. And as usual, everyone in the NFT community is so helpful. And they pointed me to the right places, the right people to follow, and just kind of broadened my horizons. So my first lesson there was, it's not that visible. You actually have to go and actively seek out the community and actively seek out the collections. I've come across some really outstanding African NFT artists, and I've spent about 4 weeks looking around and buying and supporting the artists themselves. Here's one example of a piece of art that I've bought, and let me tell you, they are pretty freaking awesome, okay? I asked on Twitter African NFT artists, what is it that you face that are the biggest problems? What are some of the biggest challenges? Because I'm trying to understand the space and trying to understand what the solutions could be. And these were some of the things that came up, okay? The first was lack of visibility, which I immediately came across, and anyone else will. If you're just scouting around, you won't necessarily see trending collections and featuring African NFT artists. So this is a major problem. You've got this awesome art from the continent and it's not visible. There's a feeling that major platforms and marketplaces are just basically racist. They discriminate against African artists and they stereotype us from the continent, and that is a major problem. So that came out as a predominant theme around conversations with African NFT artists on social media. Adding to the stereotype piece, there's also a feeling that collectors globally just want African themed art. You know, you want animals and you want masks and tribal things and just stuff that people associate Africa with, right? And we don't like that. The African NFT community is incredibly frustrated by being pinholed this way, yet collectors tend to gravitate to these sorts of stereotypes. So we need to find ways to break those stigmas and those stereotypes. The other thing that arose was there's not a lot of support on the African continent by by collectors themselves for African NFT art. And if we don't support our own, then, who will? That was one piece. And then another aspect was that there's not a lot of education around Web3 and crypto and the NFT space on the African continent. Those that know, and everybody else just doesn't, right? And so there's a large education gap and therefore a large education opportunity. Okay, there's nothing I can do with my blowing hair, so no amount of hairspray is going to help, and I'm in the bush, so I don't really care. Just saying, okay? The next point was something that arises on many different sectors, actually, and that is electricity and the internet, right? So you get frequent power cuts, some more frequent than others in other parts of the world, and you are unable to be consistent and get on the internet and be able to communicate and upload your collections, etc. So that's a problem, slow internet issues. And unfortunately, the African continent is still grappling with this problem, and it affects the development overall in the NFT space and Web3. And the last point I just want to share with you, it was about currency exchanges. African NFT artists are disadvantaged because you have to convert local currency into US dollars and then into Ethereum and crypto, right? And so it becomes expensive to do that. And OpenSea's gas fees, even though Ethereum's fees have gone down a bit over the last few weeks, quite significantly, it's still a lot of money here, on the continent. And uploading to NFTs onto OpenSea, even with a one-time gas fee, can be prohibitive for African artists. African artists need our support in the NFT space. I mean, they deserve it. They should not be invisible. We should make the effort and go out and seek them. We should give them platforms to showcase their incredible art. And it won't hurt if we watch a few videos online, 5 YouTube videos, maybe even 2, and you know what's going on. I think it's really important that on the African continent that we're proactive about educating ourselves as well, right? I think that also it speaks to African narratives. I mean, this is authentic art by artists from 54 countries on the continent of Africa, okay? We are tired of the Western countries defining who we are. We don't like being stereotyped. We don't like our stories being told by other people. We want to tell them ourselves, and damn it, we should. And one way we can do it is through NFT art. We can do incredible collaborations, partnerships with brands, with countries, with various organizations, because there are inbuilt communities in the NFT space and the NFTs are visual and they're engaging. And these are new areas, I believe, that we should be exploring through the NFT space and through NFT artists. As we grow the NFT space in the African continent, there is one thing that I do believe that we need to focus some attention on, and that is utility. When I asked on Twitter this question, what utility does the African NFT art have? The response I got was, well, it's not about utility, it's about the art. And yes, I agree with that, that's great, and we should support artists. I do. All the images you've seen here, NFT artworks that I have bought to support NFT artists, right? The other response I got was, well, there's a percentage in some pieces or some collections that go to charity here on the African continent, and yes, thumbs up, that's a great thing, I support it, I would do it as well. But what I'm talking about is collections like World of Women, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, like VFriends. How are we on the African continent, together with the NFT community, going to develop real utility, right, that drives floor prices up? That is a part of the game. People want to profit when they own an NFT as well. They want to believe in the artist and the project. There needs to be a roadmap, and there are many things. An NFT being a ticket to a conference, essentially. An NFT ultimately becoming part of a gaming operation. An NFT offering access to something exclusive, or to communities, or to a restaurant, or the space is so rich and new that we can actually really innovate around this space. And I'm not saying that here in Africa we should copy what's going on in the West. We should learn from it, see what's working, but then we should devise our own thing, right? And I am willing to jump in with African NFT artists, global brands, different kinds of partners, and bring them on the African continent and back, with firepower, our African NFT artists and creatives, and really build the creative and cultural industry and develop Web3 on this powerful, young continent. So with that, I want to share one thing here. I would like to spend the next 4 weeks buying earnestly African NFT art. What I'd really like is for artists, collectors, friends, family, whoever, to make some comments down below on this YouTube channel and share collections with me. Share the links. I would really be very interested in what utility they might have. It's not a preference. I'd just be interested. And tell me why you think that this collection is worth buying. I would really appreciate that. One of the things that we'll do is that it will help me find art that I might not normally find. If I scroll through Twitter, or if somebody tells me about it, or I'm in a Twitter Spaces, then I might go and look. So it will draw my attention to things I may not find, okay? So tell me about the collection, why it's great, and if there is a utility to the collection. And if it's a one of one, that's fine too. So I'm just opening the door to see more, to learn more, and to buy more. Now, there's something else here, right? I can't just be on rants and not put my money where my mouth is, okay? So this is the announcement that I would like to make. And I sincerely hope that there will be partners that will ultimately join me in doing this. I would like to start a ZV NFT fund to buy NFTs from African artists. And I am in the process of pulling the concept, the guidelines, the ideas together for it now. And I will start on my own this month, just simply by observing collections, looking at them and buying them, but with a roadmap, right? As a collector, champion, and investor into this space, I will start a ZV NFT fund that I hope will really give NFT artists on the entire African continent a boost. And I hope that will draw the attention of global brands, of partners that come into Africa, and our own governments to understand that right in their back door is huge talent, and we don't leverage it enough. We hire expensive PR firms in the West, but we can tell our own stories here, and one way to do it is to back the African NFT artist space on the continent, okay? So that's what I wanted to say. Now, Mia, I've got to go for a game drive, and I'll let you know whether I see my leopard or not. Later, when the sun is going down, I will have a sundowner, naturally, which will be Tusker and Tangawizi mixed. If you don't know what that is, you need to look it up, or come to Kenya, magical Kenya. No one is paying me for promoting Masai Mara. I'm just the biggest champion and advocate of this country and the beauty that it offers. All right, that's it for ZV NFT. Please subscribe to this channel. It helps me. It helps me reach more people. I want to do more educational content as I learn, because I'm sharing my journey with you. And it also helps me with YouTube's algorithms. So, I may as well play. All right. Take care. Look after yourselves. I will report back on the leopard. Bye-bye.